You weren't invited. We don't celebrate mistakes, my dad snapped as I stepped into his promotion party. My brother laughed. He's just here for the free buffet. I didn't react. Turns out they used my bonus by accident to fund the whole thing. I reversed the transfer, walked out, and left a folder on Dad's chair. 10 minutes later, I heard him scream, "Who canceled the entire account?" My name is Daniel. I am 29 years old, and for most of my life, I have been the person my family forgets to include. Not in their emergencies, not when they need money, just in everything else. My brother Kevin is 33, 4 years older, and the one my parents talk about with pride. He works in sales, drives a leased BMW, and knows how to make every accomplishment sound like a movie trailer. I work in IT, handle database migrations, and solve problems nobody sees until something breaks. Growing up, I learned early that Kevin got the attention and I got the errands. When he made the varsity basketball team, my parents threw him a dinner. When I got accepted into an advanced coding program, my mother asked me to pick up groceries on the way home because she was busy planning Kevin's celebration. I told myself it was fine. Kevin was charismatic. He was the kind of son people showed off. I was the kind they relied on quietly. But quiet reliance became a pattern. When Kevin lost his job 3 years ago, I loaned him $4,000 to cover his rent while he looked for work. He found a new position 2 months later and never mentioned paying me back. When my father needed a new transmission for his truck, I covered half the cost because his savings were tied up in something he would not explain. When my mother wanted to remodel the kitchen, I sent her $2,000 as a birthday gift. She thanked me over text and then posted photos of the new countertops with a caption about how blessed she was. No mention of who paid for it. 6 months ago, my father got promoted to regional manager at his company. It was a big deal. Bigger salary, corner office, company car. He called Kevin first to share the news. I found out 3 days later when my mother mentioned it during a short phone call about something else entirely. She said they were planning a party to celebrate, a big one. Catered dinner, rented venue, 50 guests. She said it would be in July. I waited for an invitation. I checked my mail. I checked my email. I checked the family group chat. Nothing came. 2 weeks before the party, I finally asked my mother if she needed my address for the invitation. She paused on the phone. Then she said, "Oh, Daniel, it is just close family and Dad's work friends. You understand?" I did not understand. I was close family. But I said okay because that is what I always did. I hung up and stared at my phone for a long time. Close family. The word sat heavy in my chest. The day before the party, I received a notification from my bank. A large transfer had gone through from my savings account. $8,000. I had not authorized it. I logged into my account immediately, my heart pounding. The transfer was to an event planning company. The memo line read, "Anderson Party Catering and Venue Deposit." Anderson, my last name, my family's last name. I pulled up my account history. 2 weeks earlier, another transfer. $1,500 to a floral company. 3 weeks before that, $1,200 to a rental service. I scrolled further back. Over the past 2 months, nearly $11,000 had been pulled from my account, all for vendors connected to my father's promotion party. I sat at my kitchen table, my laptop open, the numbers glowing on the screen. $11,000 for a party I was not invited to, for a celebration that did not include me. I thought about calling my mother. I thought about asking how this happened, but I already knew how. Years ago, I had added her as a backup on my savings account in case of emergency. She had access. She could move money if needed. I trusted her. I trusted all of them. That trust had just cost me $11,000. I closed my laptop. I sat in the silence of my apartment, and I made a decision. If they wanted to use my money, they could face me while doing it. I was going to that party. The venue was elegant. High ceilings, crystal chandeliers, round tables with white linens and gold-trimmed plates. A buffet stretched along one wall, the kind with heat lamps and servers in black vests. A banner hung at the front of the room. "Congratulations, Richard Anderson, Regional Manager." My father's name in bold letters. I stood in the doorway, scanning the crowd. 50 people, maybe more. Co-workers I did not recognize. Family friends I had not seen in years. Kevin stood near the bar, laughing with a group of men in suits. I stepped inside. My mother saw me first. Her face went pale. She crossed the room quickly, her heels clicking on the polished floor. She reached me just as I moved toward the tables. "Daniel, what are you doing here?" Her voice was low, urgent. I looked at her calmly. "I came to celebrate Dad's promotion." "You were not invited." "I know." She glanced over her shoulder, checking if anyone was watching. "This is not a good time. You should go." "Why?" "Because this is for your father, for his achievement. It is not about you." I felt something cold settle in my chest. "I am aware. I just wanted to be here." My father appeared beside her. He looked annoyed, his jaw tight. "Daniel, why are you here?" "I wanted to congratulate you. You were not invited. We don't celebrate mistakes." The words hit me like a slap. I stared at him. Mistakes. He had called me a mistake in a room full of people. My mother touched his arm, her voice a whisper. "Richard, not here." But he was already moving past me, his hand on my shoulder, pushing me gently but firmly back toward the door. "This party is for people who matter to my career. You do not belong here." Kevin walked over, drink in hand, grin on his face. He looked at me the way someone looks at a stray dog. "Hey, little brother, what are you doing? Just here for the free buffet?" A few people nearby laughed. My father released my shoulder and stepped back, shaking his head. Kevin leaned closer, his voice loud enough for others to hear. "Come on, man, you were not invited. Do not make this awkward." I stood there, surrounded by strangers and family who did not want me. I felt my hands curl into fists at my sides. I felt my throat tighten. And then I felt something else. Clarity. I looked at Kevin, at my father, at my mother, who would not meet my eyes. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out my phone. I opened my banking app. I pulled up the transaction history, the catering charge, the floral charge, the venue deposit, all from my account. I held the phone out toward my father. "Did you know Mom used my account to pay for this?" His expression flickered. Confusion, then dismissal. "What are you talking about?" $11,000 from my savings for your party." My mother stepped forward, her voice defensive. "It was a mistake. I accidentally selected the wrong account. I was going to transfer it back." "When?" She hesitated. "Soon. I just forgot." I looked at my father. "Did you know?" He shrugged. "Your mother handles the finances. If she made a mistake, she will fix it." Kevin snorted. "Dude, you are seriously making a scene over an accident? Chill out." I smiled. It was not a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who had just understood the joke. "An accident." "Right." I turned and walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard Kevin mutter something. I heard my father say my name once, dismissive and tired. I did not stop. I reached the door, then paused. I turned back. My father was already talking to someone else, laughing. Kevin had returned to the bar. My mother stood alone near the entrance, watching me with an expression I could not read. I walked back inside. I moved through the room, past tables, past guests. I reached the head table where my father's chair sat empty. A jacket hung on the back. A glass of whiskey sat on the table. I pulled a folder from inside my jacket. A red folder, thin but heavy with meaning. I placed it on the seat. Then I walked out. I sat in my car, engine running, phone in my hand. Through the windowed wall of the banquet hall, I could see the party continuing. People laughing, glasses raised. My father at the center of it all, shaking hands, basking in attention. I opened my banking app. I navigated to the transfers. I selected the catering payment, $8,000. I clicked reverse transaction. The app asked if I was sure. I was sure. Confirmed. Next, the floral payment, $1,500. Reverse transaction. Confirmed. The rental service, $1,200. Reverse transaction. Confirmed. 1 by 1. I reversed every charge, every payment that had been pulled from my account without my permission. The app processed each reversal in seconds. I watched the numbers climb back into my savings. $11,000 returned. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, No anger, just cold, empty calm. I knew what would happen. The vendors would receive notifications, payments reversed, accounts now overdue, services rendered but unpaid. In a venue full of people, with food being served and drinks being poured, the charges were being pulled back in real time. I set my phone on the passenger seat. I looked at the building one more time. The lights glowed warm inside. The banner with my father's name. The tables full of people who had never asked where I was. I put the car in reverse and backed out of the parking spot. As I shifted into drive, my phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "What did you do?" I did not reply. I drove. The highway stretched out in front of me, dark and empty. My hands were steady on the wheel. My breathing was even. I thought about the folder I had left on my father's chair. Inside were printed bank statements. Every transaction highlighted. Every unauthorized transfer circled in red. A single sticky note on the front page with 4 words. "You used the mistake." I drove for 20 minutes before my phone started ringing. My mother. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. I declined. My father called. I declined. Kevin called. I declined. Texts started flooding in. Angry, confused, desperate. I pulled into a gas station and parked under the fluorescent lights. I scrolled through the messages. My mother's first text said it was a misunderstanding. Her second text said I was overreacting. Her third text said I was ruining everything. My father's message was short. "Call me now." Kevin's message was longer. "What the hell did you do? The caterers are freaking out. Dad is losing it. Mom is crying. You just destroyed his night. Are you happy now?" I read every message twice. Then I typed a single reply to the family group chat. "I reversed the payments you took from my account without asking. If you want the party funded, use your own money." I hit send. Then I muted the chat, turned off my phone, and sat in the silence of my car. The gas station hummed quietly. A truck pulled in across from me. A couple walked out of the convenience store, laughing about something. I started my car and drove home. When I pulled into my apartment complex, I turned my phone back on. 63 messages, 14 missed calls. I deleted the voicemails without listening. I scrolled through the texts until I found the one I was looking for, from my father. "Who canceled the entire account?" I smiled. Then I went inside and went to bed. I woke up to silence. No calls, no texts. I made coffee and sat at my kitchen table with my laptop. I opened my financial records and started going through everything systematically. Not just the party charges. Everything. I wanted to see the full picture. I wanted to understand exactly how much I had given and how little I had received in return. The first thing I found was the loan to Kevin, $4,000 3 years ago. I had marked it in my records as a loan, with a note that he would pay me back. He never did. I searched my bank records for any repayment. Nothing. I checked my Venmo, my PayPal, even old checks. Nothing. $4,000 gone. Next, the transmission for my father's truck. $2,200. I had split it with him, my half sent directly to the mechanic. My father had promised to cover the other half. I pulled up the mechanic's invoice. My payment was listed. My father's payment showed as pending for 2 weeks, then marked unpaid. The mechanic had called me asking if I could cover the rest. I did. Another $2,200. I had paid for the entire repair. My mother's kitchen remodel, $2,000. I had sent it as a birthday gift. She had thanked me and said it was exactly what she needed to finish the project. I found the contractor's invoice in an old email she had forwarded me months later, asking if I could help with the final bill. Another $1,500. The kitchen that cost $2,000 had actually cost me $3,500. I added everything up. Over the past 5 years, I had sent my family over $37,000. Loans that were never repaid, gifts that turned into expenses, emergencies that were never really emergencies, and now $11,000 more for a party I was not invited to. $48,000. I leaned back in my chair and stared at the number on my screen. $48,000. I thought about the vacations I had not taken. The car I still drove even though the check engine light had been on for 6 months. The apartment I stayed in because I kept telling myself I was saving for something better. I thought about my 10th birthday, My parents threw Kevin a big party for his 14th. They invited his whole class, rented a bouncy house, hired a magician. My birthday was 2 weeks later. My mother made a cake, and we ate it at the kitchen table, just the four of us. Kevin spent the whole time talking about his party. When I asked if I could have friends over, my mother said it was too expensive to do two big parties so close together. I thought about my high school graduation. Kevin had graduated 4 years earlier. My parents threw him a party, invited relatives, gave him a car as a gift. When I graduated, they took me to dinner at a chain restaurant. My father spent most of the meal on his phone. My mother gave me a card with $50 inside. I thought about every time I called home and Kevin answered, saying our parents were busy. Every time I visited and found them planning something for Kevin's life, while mine was an afterthought. Every time I helped and heard the same words, "You are so dependable, Daniel." Dependable. The word that meant I would always be there and they would never have to try. I closed my laptop. I looked around my apartment. Small, clean, mine. I had built this life with no help from them, and I had funded theirs without acknowledgement. I picked up my phone. I opened my contacts. I scrolled to my mother's name. I blocked it. Then my father's. Then Kevin's. I was done being dependable. The knock came at 2 in the afternoon. 3 sharp raps on the door. I looked through the peephole. My father stood in the hallway, arms crossed, jaw set. I considered not answering. Then I opened the door. He stepped inside without asking. "We need to talk." "No, we do not. You embarrassed me. In front of my colleagues, in front of my boss. The caterers stopped serving food halfway through the night. The venue manager threatened to shut everything down. Do you have any idea what you did?" I closed the door and leaned against it. "I took back my money. Your mother made a mistake. She was going to fix it." "When?" He waved his hand dismissively. "Soon. She just forgot." "You did not have to humiliate us." "I did not humiliate you. You humiliated me. You called me a mistake in front of 50 people. I was frustrated. You showed up uninvited. I showed up to a party funded with my money. It was an accident. $11,000 is not an accident. That is theft." His face reddened. "Theft? I am your father. We are family. Family does not accuse each other of theft. Family does not steal from each other either." He stepped closer, his voice dropping to something cold and mean. "You have always been like this, selfish, ungrateful. We gave you everything. We raised you, fed you, kept a roof over your head. And this is how you repay us?" I laughed. It came out bitter and sharp. "You gave me everything. You gave Kevin everything. You gave him attention. You gave him parties. You gave him a car. You gave him your pride. What did you give me? We gave you a home. You gave me errands. You gave me bills to pay. You gave me a role, the dependable one, the backup, the mistake you could use when it was convenient. That is not fair." "Fair?" I pushed off the door and stood straight. "You used my money for your party and did not invite me. You called me a mistake to my face." Kevin laughed at me. "Mom made excuses. And now you are in my home, telling me I am selfish. You do not get to talk about fair." He stared at me, his hands clenched at his sides. "If you do not fix this, you are out of this family?" "Good," he blinked. "What?" I said good. If being in this family means funding your lives while you treat me like garbage, then I am out." "You do not mean that." "I do. You want the money back? Earn it. You want my help? Apologize. You want me at your next party? Invite me like a human being instead of treating me like an ATM." His face went from red to pale. "You are serious." "I have never been more serious." He turned toward the door, then stopped. He looked back at me, and for a moment I thought he might apologize. Instead, he said, "You are going to regret this." "I already regret the last 5 years." He left. The door slammed behind him. I stood in the middle of my living room, my heart pounding, my hands shaking. I had just told my father to leave. I had just cut ties, and I felt lighter than I had in years. My phone buzzed. A text from Kevin. "Dad just called, said you are being insane. What is your problem?" I typed back quickly. "My problem is that I have been your ATM for years, and you have never once said thank you. That ends now." He replied immediately, "You are such a drama queen. It was an accident. Get over it." I blocked his number. Another text came through. "My mother. Please call me. We need to fix this. I am sorry about the money. I will pay you back. Just please do not do this." I read it 3 times. Then I typed a reply. "You have had months to pay me back? You did not. You have had years to treat me like I matter? You did not. I am done." I hit send. Then I blocked her too. I sat on my couch, my phone on the coffee table, and I felt the silence settle around me. No more calls, no more texts, no more demands, just silence. And for the first time in years, the silence felt like peace. I spent the weekend at a coffee shop downtown, my laptop open, files spread across the table. I was not just reviewing my finances anymore. I was building a case, not for court, but for clarity, for proof, for the moment when they tried to twist the story and make me the villain. I started with the joint savings account. My mother had been added as a co-owner 5 years ago, back when I was traveling for work and wanted someone who could access funds in case of emergency. She had used that access exactly 3 times, once to pull money for Kevin's rent, once for my father's truck repair, and now for the party. Each time she had called it an emergency. Each time she had promised to replace the funds. She never did. I pulled up the account agreement. It clearly stated that both account holders had full access, but that withdrawals required notification unless in a genuine emergency. Medical, legal, immediate danger. A promotion party did not qualify. I printed the agreement and highlighted the relevant sections. Next, I gathered every text, every email, every conversation where they had asked for money. Kevin's message from 3 years ago. "Hey man, I am short on rent. Can you spot me $4,000? I will pay you back next month, promise." My response, "Sure. Let me know when you can pay it back." His response, "Thanks, bro. You are a lifesaver." No follow-up, no repayment, just silence. My father's email about the truck. "Daniel, I need help with a repair. It is $2,200 for my half. Can you cover it? I am strapped this month." My response, "I can help. Let me know if you need more." His response, "Appreciate it, son." 2 weeks later, the mechanic called me asking for the remaining balance. I paid it. My father never mentioned it again. My mother's text about the kitchen. "Daniel, your birthday gift was so generous. It will really help finish the remodel. Thank you." Then a month later, "The contractor needs another $1,500 to complete the countertops. Can you help? I know I already asked, but it would mean so much." I printed every message, every email, every receipt. I organized them chronologically in a binder. $48,000 of documented financial exploitation disguised as family support. Then I did something I had been avoiding. I called my bank. I spoke with a representative about the unauthorized transfers. I explained the situation. She listened carefully, took notes, asked questions. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. "Sir, if someone has access to your account and is making withdrawals without notifying you or replacing the funds as agreed, that could be considered financial abuse." The words hit me hard. Financial abuse. I had never thought of it that way. It was just my family asking for help, except they were not asking anymore. They were taking. "What are my options?" I asked. "You can remove the co-owner from the account. You can also file a report if you believe the withdrawals were unauthorized or fraudulent. Given that you have documentation showing these were not emergencies and that repayment was promised but not delivered, you would have a strong case." I thanked her and ended the call. I sat in the coffee shop, my laptop screen glowing, my binder of evidence in front of me, and I made a decision. I was not going to file a police report. I was not going to take them to court, but I was going to make sure they understood exactly what they had done. I opened my email. I drafted a message. The subject line read, "Accounting of Financial Support, 2019 to 2024. I attached scans of every document, every text, every email, every receipt. I wrote a brief introduction. "This is a record of every dollar I have provided to this family over the past 5 years. $48,000 in total. Loans never repaid. Gifts that became expenses. Support that was never reciprocated. You called me a mistake. You used my money without asking. You treated me like I was invisible unless you needed something. I am done. Do not contact me again. Do not ask for help again. We are finished. I saved the email as a draft. I was not ready to send it yet, but I would be soon. I closed my laptop and left the coffee shop. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the sidewalk. I walked to my car and sat inside, the binder of evidence on the passenger seat. I felt something shift inside me. Not anger, not sadness, just clarity. I was not the mistake. They were. Monday morning, I walked into my bank branch. I requested to speak with a manager. A woman in her 40s greeted me, professional and calm. I explained that I needed to remove a co-owner from my savings account. Immediately, she asked for my ID and account information. 5 minutes later, we were in her office. Is there a specific reason for the removal? She asked. Unauthorized withdrawals. The co-owner has been taking money without notification and without repayment. She nodded. We can process this today. Once removed, the co-owner will no longer have any access or authority over the account. Do it. She typed on her computer, clicked through several screens. Done. The account is now solely in your name. Would you like to change the account number as well? That would prevent any future attempts to access it using old information? Yes. She processed the change. 10 minutes later, I had a new account number, new access codes, and complete control. My mother could no longer touch my money. I thanked the manager and left. Next, I went to the credit union where I had opened a checking account years ago. I moved all my remaining savings there. I closed every account my family had ever known about. I severed every financial connection. That afternoon, I sent the email. I hit send and watched it leave my outbox. To my mother, to my father, to Kevin. A detailed accounting of every dollar, every broken promise, every moment I had been used. I did not expect a response. I did not want one. I just wanted them to see it, to know that I knew. 30 minutes later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I declined. It rang again. I declined. A text came through from a number I did not recognize. Daniel, this is your mother. I am using a friend's phone. Please call me. We need to talk. I deleted the text. Another call. Another unknown number. I declined. Then a voicemail. I listened. My father's voice, tight and angry. You sent that email to everyone. Kevin, your mother, even copied your aunt and uncle. You are trying to destroy this family. We made mistakes, fine, but you do not air family business like this. Call me, now. I deleted the voicemail. Kevin called from a different number. I let it go to voicemail. His message was shorter, meaner. You are pathetic. You know that? You are burning bridges over money, over an accident. Mom is crying, Dad is furious, and you do not even care. You were always the selfish one. I hope you are happy alone. I deleted that too. The texts kept coming, from numbers I did not know, from relatives I had not spoken to in years. My aunt sent a long message about family forgiveness. My uncle sent a short one telling me to grow up. A cousin I barely remembered asked what was going on and if I was okay. I replied to the cousin, I am fine. For the first time in years, I am fine. That evening, my mother showed up at my apartment. I saw her through the peephole, standing in the hallway looking small and tired. She knocked softly. I did not open the door. Daniel, please. I know you are in there. I just want to talk. I stayed silent. I am sorry. I am so sorry. I should have asked before using your account. I should have paid you back. I know I messed up. Your father messed up. We all did. But you are my son. Please do not do this. I leaned against the door, my forehead pressed to the wood. I wanted to open it. Part of me wanted to forgive her, to go back to how things were. But I knew how things were, and I did not want that anymore. Daniel, please. I stepped away from the door. I walked to my bedroom and closed the door. I turned on music, something soft and instrumental. I drowned out her voice. After 10 minutes, the knocking stopped. I looked through the peephole. She was gone. I returned to my living room. I sat on my couch and opened my laptop. I logged into my new bank account. My savings untouched. My checking? Secure. My money mine. I thought about my father screaming at the party. I thought about Kevin laughing. I thought about my mother making excuses. I thought about the banner with my father's name, and the food I had paid for, and the celebration I was not invited to. I closed my laptop. I looked around my apartment. Quiet, clean, mine, and I felt free. 3 months later, I moved. A new apartment in a different part of the city, farther from my family, closer to work. 2 bedrooms, hardwood floors, a balcony that overlooked a park. I furnished it slowly, choosing each piece carefully. A couch that was comfortable, not just cheap. A desk that fit my workspace. Art for the walls that I actually liked. I heard about the fallout through my cousin, the one who had asked if I was okay. She called me a month after I sent the email. She said my mother had tried to explain things to the family, but that the email spoke for itself. She said my father was angry, but quiet. She said Kevin had told people I was being dramatic, but that most of the family sided with me. They used you, she said. Everyone can see that now. I thanked her for reaching out. She asked if I would ever talk to them again. I told her I did not know. Maybe someday. But not now. Not until I felt ready, if I ever did. My mother sent one final letter. It arrived at my old address and was forwarded. She said she was sorry. She said she understood why I was angry. She said she hoped one day I could forgive them. She did not ask for money. She did not make excuses. It was the closest thing to a real apology I had ever received from her. I read the letter once. Then I put it in a drawer with the others. I did not reply. My father never apologized. Kevin never reached out. I did not expect them to. Some people do not change. Some people do not see what they have done wrong until it is too late. And even then, they blame everyone else. I started therapy in September. My counselor was patient and kind. She helped me unpack years of feeling invisible, of equating my worth with my usefulness. She helped me see that boundaries were not cruel, that saying no was not selfish, that I deserved to be valued for who I was, not what I could provide. I made new friends, people from work, a neighbor who liked running, a book club I joined because I wanted to try something new. They did not know about my family. They did not know about the money or the party or the email. They just knew me. And that was enough. On a Saturday evening in late October, I sat on my balcony with a cup of tea. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The park below was quiet, just a few people walking dogs. My phone sat on the table beside me, silent. No frantic calls, no guilt-laden messages, no demands disguised as emergencies. I thought about my father's words at the party. We do not celebrate mistakes. I smiled, the same cold smile I had given him that night. I was not the mistake. I was the person who had held them together while they tore me apart, and now they had to figure out how to stand on their own. I picked up my phone and opened my notes. I typed one sentence. I was never the mistake. I was the solution they took for granted. I saved it. Then I set the phone down and watched the sun disappear. The sky darkened. The stars appeared. And I sat there, finally at peace, knowing I had reclaimed something they could never take again, myself.